Hello, everybody. Welcome to our survival game news weekly roundup this week from May 16th to May 22nd. And honestly, we really only have one little bit of news this week. Very slow this week, but important all the same. So let's go ahead and take a look. On May 16th, Once Human launched their Starfall Inversion event. It's another one of those visionary wheel events. So the lunar wheel is done. The Starfall Inversion is up next, where they're kind of playing around with gravity. They have a lot of gravity-based, or zero gravity, really, based events. So you might be noticing those events now available in certain scenarios. If you're interested, you just have to go find a scenario that has that specific type of event live. So that is now doing its thing, and I believe it's going to run until September. Now, aside from the Starfall Inversion event, they also, in early access, they are launching two different game modes, basically. So for the PVE players out there, player versus environment players, you have a new scenario on May 21st. They launched this, so at time recording a few days ago now at this point. It's an early access, so if you're not seeing this, that's maybe why. But it is an early access scenario called Endless Dream. And the kind of theme behind this, the story is like, if the apocalypse descended into a dream, as a player, would you be prepared to face it? So some of the features that we have in this new scenario, we have full map access. So all existing regions are accessible in Phase 1. We can explore Nelcott in its entirety, basically from the southern, Broken Delta to Emberstrand in the north, exactly from the start of the game, which is obviously always the case. Some of the scenarios, these regions are locked, so that's not the case for this particular scenario. So if you like that, there you go. Now there's going to be these things called dream zones. These are layers of nested zones, basically, that encroach upon the wilderness. Each one features a unique environment that have like unique traits, combat effects. So as you kind of venture deeper into these zones, which are kind of like nightmares, I guess, that effect starts to stack and multiply. So it gets, more challenging the deeper you go in. Now, as a metahuman, the player's mission is to purify these layered zones to reshape the environment as well as its rules. You can construct within a dream zone, even without a territory terminal, which, allows you to, really kind of unleash your creativity, overcome these nightmares, however you want. Now, another feature is there's going to be some player-driven progress as well as multiple endings, which I find very interesting for something that is like, kind of like an MMO, right? So there's these dream zones and deviants that will evolve as the scenario progresses. Basically to increase that challenge even more. As more players eliminate these things called eternal dreamers, they're going to reduce the duration of the phases 1 to 5. Intensifying, the scenario's pace and difficulty. So basically, all of our collective efforts to purge the eternal dreamers will also decide the world's fate. Will we save the world, or will we witness its ultimate destruction? And basically, that's going to be down to us. Now, one kind of interesting thing about that, I guess, is that, if there's a lot of players on a server, and they're all, going ham on these objectives, it's very possible that this scenario could end really, really fast. I don't know if, the devs are going to be, fudging things a little bit on their end to make sure that phases don't end too quickly. We'll kind of have to see, I guess. They are the ones who obviously really control these things. But in theory, anyway, it's player-driven, and there's multiple endings. And by that, it's really like A, B, probably. Like, either you save it or you don't. But really cool, interesting scenario all the same. So if you've been kind of wanting some new content and you're a PvE player, maybe check out this scenario. Now, the other scenario is called Once Human Raid Zone. And this is a PvP scenario event, what do you want to call it? And so player versus player, and they call this kind of like the survival of the fittest sort of mode here. So, as a meta-human, the little theme here, you fight for yourself alone, you gotta defeat your enemies, defy fate, and take on the world. Or, of course, be destroyed. So, the Raid Zone is a new series for players that are really looking for, like, pure and intense PvP action. There's a Raid Zone, basically, and you have to fight to survive that zone. So, some of the gameplay features, this is going to be skill-based combat, so all characters start on equal footing. Nobody has like inherited supplies or blueprints or mods. The Raid Zone features dedicated equipment and skill trees designed for competitive play. All weapons and armor that's out there, you have to acquire it basically within the game realm. So you're not bringing anything in. You're starting from zero. Everybody is, and then you got to go get weapons and armor yourself. So if you're really looking for that pure PvP experience, you know, this might be the game mode that you want. They consider this hardcore PvP, so in this hostile world, obviously, few places are safe. Your territory structures can be destroyed by rival metahumans, and you remain vulnerable to attacks even when offline. Plunder is the law of the land, and defeat means losing your gear and supplies. So obviously, if you guys want to survive, might be a good idea to maybe make some friends. You can band together, you can make allies to fortify your territory, you can make, defensive installations and traps, you can stockpile weapons, ammunition, explosives to raid, rival territories, but, of course, you gotta watch out for those ambushes, hidden traps, all of that. Combat deviations also feature some new abilities and mechanics, offering some more unique tactical advantages that could, potentially boost a certain kind of strategy. So, using all this to your advantage, the idea here is to obviously survive, right? Be the last one standing. And then they have this other feature called Make the Ultimate Choice, which is, I guess, like Ursula, who's going to be your enigmatic deviation companion. She's going to evolve alongside you, her power growing with every realm fragment that you collect. I imagine that is, very much PvP. You got to go destroy players to get these fragments. Now, when she is fully strengthened, she can summon the devastating Manabus, which if you played PvE, the Manabus scenario, you know who we're talking about here. And this creature can deal tremendous area damage, opening a very a massive kind of dimensional hollow. But of course, wielding this entity's power will also destabilize the realm and hasten the arrival of the settlement phase. So you're going to have to choose whether or not you want to wield that catastrophic power. So basically, if somebody uses Manabus, it's going to end this game mode a little bit earlier. So I'm sure there's going to be some who's out there who are going to do that. But yeah, so if you want some really, you want to get into that toxic PvP thing, that scenario is for you. But that is about it for news today, just from Once Human releasing these new scenarios. I'm really excited about Endless Dream. It sounds really interesting. So I'm probably gonna go take a plunge in there myself, see what it's all about. But let me know what you guys are thinking, especially those Once Human fans out there. If you're excited about these, or maybe not so excited. But either way, I will see you guys next week for another survival game news weekly roundup. Till then, keep surviving and keep thriving.